All right, so this is a quick video on how to call in for PDI after you're done with your phone time. All right, and I know you probably went over this in training, but it's really important that you contact your office as soon as you're done with your phone time. All right, you should be making, you're either on a 10, 20, if you're watching this video, you're either on a 10, 20, or 30 phone call a week, a day program. Okay, 10 phone calls, meaning 5 in the morning, 5 at night, on 5 days a week. If you're in your fast start, it's every day. So you're doing your phone calls every day if you're in your fast start. But after your fast start, you're doing 5 days a week of phone calls. So 5 days a week times 10 phone calls will give you 50 calls. 50 calls should get you about 7 to 9 appointments. If you're doing worse than that, you should call your manager and you should be having a conversation about why it's worse. All right? If you're doing 20 phone calls a day, 10 in the morning, 10 at night, 20 times 5 is 100 phone calls. That should get you about 14 to 18 appointments. And if you're doing 30, you can figure it out. Okay, so point being is do your phone time. Results can be fixed, but we expect you to get your work done. Okay, do your work. Okay, we can deal with poor results. We can't deal with poor effort and poor performance. All right, so make sure you're making your phone calls on the days that you're making your phone calls. Okay, but as soon as you're done with your phone time, now you should be using a phone log. Okay, phone log. Use your phone log. All right, but as soon as you're finished with your phone time, you're going to call your manager. Okay, if you're making 5 phone calls, you make 5 phone calls and you call your manager. The reason why you want to call your manager immediately as you're done is so we can know when you're doing your phone time. Now, sometimes you'll get your manager when you call, sometimes you won't. You might get a machine, but the machine will also tell us what time. So that way we can see, again, morning phone time should be between 7 and 8:30, Monday through Friday, and on Saturday and Sunday it should be a little bit later, maybe between like 8 and 10, okay? Saturday and Sunday, again, sleeping in. Okay, so as far as that goes, why? Because our target audience is married, middle-aged, middle-income people. Married people with kids wake up early, okay? If they have to be at work at 9 o'clock, they're not waking up at 8:40, 8:59, okay? So they're going to wake up at 6 o'clock, 6:30, all right? By 7 o'clock, they're up and, they've already taken a shower and they're sitting downstairs or watching the morning show and they're reading the paper, and then they leave their house around 8 o'clock, 8:30, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, it might even be too late, they're leaving at 8 to get to work by 9, okay? So you got to make sure you're doing early morning phone time. So that's one of the reasons you're going to call right afterwards, because I had a rep who said they did morning phone time yesterday, and I asked him what time. Well, you're calling me. When did you do it? He's like, I just did it. I'm like, you're calling me. It's 10 o'clock. Of course you didn't get anybody home. You were calling on a Tuesday at like 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the afternoon. It's not afternoon, but it's too late. Okay, so that's the point. So anyway, so that's why you call. So when you call, please just have the stats and the numbers ready. Tell us the numbers first, and then you can tell us your story later, okay? So we just want the numbers. We're going to write it in our PDI roster, okay? So I have Pat Hughes here. Pat's committed to making 50 phone calls. He's already made 5, and I have to update that because he made another 5 today. 5, he didn't contact anyone. He didn't set up any appointments, okay? So this is what we need to know right off the bat. Number 1, how many people you have to call. We need to know that, all right? So you can say, look, I have, and now Pat has he's been here for a while and he's getting 10 recommendations every single one. He's good on that, so I don't need that number anymore. When you're brand new, I want to know how many people you have to call. So I have 25 people to call. Now, if you say I have 10 people to call or 5 people to call, I'm going to tell you to go back to your chicken list and find more people, okay? So how many people you have to call, how many calls you made, okay? Hey, I made 5 phone calls, or I made 10 phone calls. How many contacted? When we mean contacted, we mean the actual people you spoke to that you wanted to talk to, not that you talked to like their little kid who said they're not home. That's not contacted, all right? Like you actually spoke to the person you're trying to set up the appointment with, all right? So I made 10 phone calls. I talked to 3 people, and then we want to know how many people you actually set up appointments with. Now, I set up 2 appointments. Appointments are not, I'm calling this person back tonight. They told me to call them back tonight. They're definitely going to set up an appointment. That is not an appointment. That's a callback, okay? They said they're going to do it next week sometime, okay? So that is not an appointment. That is that's not an appointment. It's you have to still have to call them back, all right, to set up a definite time. So an appointment means you have set up a time where you're going to their house, you're cutting rope and leather, selling them a homemaker or an ultimate set, and getting 10 to 20 recommendations. That's what a appointment is. This is the time and date I'm coming over your house. Okay, so that's what we want to know. So it should say, I made 10 phone calls. I got 4 people home. I spoke to 4 people, and I set up 2 appointments. Great. All right. So those numbers tell me a story. Those numbers would be okay. By the way, I'd be happy with those numbers. Now, if you say I made 10 phone calls, I didn't talk to anyone, well, I'm gonna look at what time you're calling. Are you calling at the right time? Okay. If you're like, I made 10 phone calls, I spoke to 8, and I set up 1 appointment, I'm like, whoa, okay, something's wrong. You talk to 7 people and they all say, no, let me hear your phone approach, right? That person, if I get that message on my machine, or if I'm talking to a rep that says that, I immediately say, take out your phone approach and let's role play your phone approach. Something's wrong there. So we can analyze with the I can analyze with the numbers. I don't need the whole story all the time, especially when we have a big team. If you're on a team with a big team, we can't hear the whole story. Just give us the numbers. Numbers tell us the story, and then we can work with you and fix anything you need. Okay, so that's how you call in for morning PDI. Evening PDI, you have to add more stuff in. So we want the same thing with your phone calls. When you do your evening phone calls, you do the same thing. Number of phone calls you made, number of people you spoke to, how many appointments you set up. Okay. Then we want to know number of appointments that you did today. Okay, that day. So first thing, write this down. How many you had set up for that day? All right. How many appointments you actually did that day? Like you actually got to their house and they were there. They cut the rope and the leather. How many sales you had for the day? That's a number. Okay. Your CPO for the day. Please figure out your CPO, and then how many recommendations you had that day. Make sense? All right. So it should sound like this. All right. So hey, Mr. Washington, it's 9:30 at night. I've just got finished my phone time. Just wanted to leave you a quick message about my day today. I did 3 appointments. I had 2 sales. I sold 842 on the day, and I had I got 20 recommendations all together. All right, it's cool. Oh, and my phone time, by the way, I made 10 phone calls. I got 4 people spoken to, set up 3 appointments, and I'm gonna rock tomorrow. Okay, that's it. If you need anything, give me a call. All right, that would be a good message for it. That gives me all the stats. And even if you don't get a message, have those stats ready before you call, because that's what either myself or your manager or your assistant manager, they need those stats. We need to write that down in your stats. So just give us the numbers first, and then we can work on. Then you can tell us the stories and all the other stuff. Okay. And by the way, if you have a no sale, just say 0. I did 1 appointment. I had a no sale. No big deal. Okay. So again, results we can. Did you do the work? Okay. I did 8 appointments. You did 8 appointments. That tells me you worked. That tells me a story right there. If you say I did 8 appointments today, I don't need to know much more other than the fact that you worked hard, and that's good. All right. So we're excited when you sell homemakers, by the way. But if you leave a message, I sold a homemaker. Well, I don't know what that CPO is. Please tell us the exact CPO. Figure out the numbers. Okay. I sold a party pack. I don't know what the CPO is on a party pack. So you can say, hey, I had a CPO of 126. I sold a party pack. That's fine. Okay, but let me know the numbers so we can put it in a little chart here. All right. So that's how you properly call in for PDI from now on, and that way we can work with you. If you don't get us, we'll call you right back. But just make sure we have all the stats and all the information so we can make sure you're successful.